Hello and welcome to the first video on my new YouTube channel, Pierre Santos. Today we'll be discussing and I'll be showing how to sculpt a little moon. Now you can use this either for, a little gift for your mom, dad, gift for your missus, your girlfriend, so anyone really. If you on a budget, you want to make something more personal, then or you just want to learn something new, then this is the right tutorial for you. So let's get into it. So initially what I do is I usually just to pad out the initial sculpture of the moon, I will use tin foil and just scrunch it into a ball. So this will save me time and save my super sculpey, so I don't have to use as much. And the thing with tin foil is that once you bake the super sculpey or use the heat gun, then it won't affect the inside of it. So yeah, I usually place my marbles, give a rough guide where I'm going to place the eye. So I usually put like a indentation within the foil, so I kind of know roughly where I'm going to place the eyes once I start layering on the super sculpey. So as you can see here, I'm just layering a thin layer of super sculpey on top of the tin foil now. So this won't take that long. The thing with super sculpey is it's quite hard initially, so you got to warm it up in your hands, but I usually use the super sculpey fine, so it's a lot easier, it's a lot more malleable in your hands, so it's a lot softer, so I'd recommend that. And just to let you know, all materials and tools used in this video are listed in the description box, so yeah, just check it out so you get everything ready. Nice. So now what you want to do is create a nice even layer with the super sculpey around the tinfoil ball. Just be aware of the indentations that you made, just follow the form around the eyes and stuff like that with the clay. But it's fairly straightforward, this bit. I mean, it's just, small bits of clay, applying small bits so you can create a nice even layer. And that's pretty much it. The sculpture is nice and smooth. As you can see, I'm holding 2 balls in my hand. I repeat, 2 balls, and I'm going to place them right into my sculpture now. See, this is the benefits of putting the indentations in early, so you kind of you can place them in easier and the sculpture can start to take shape. What I'm doing now is just rolling a couple of worms, so I'm going to use this to kind of like place around the eyes to create kind of like eyelids. You just got to create like little worm kind of shapes within your hand. So as you can see, I'm just rolling in the palm of my hand and just placing it around the eyes, so it gives it more form, and you can see an eye starting to take shape on the sculpture. So the old moon boy starting to get take shape. So you just want to do that on both sides. It's fairly straightforward. What I tend to do is I roll it in my hand, but create on the ends, it's quite hard to describe, but on the ends kind of make it thinner. So once you place it on, it creates this kind of like nice kind of like teardrop kind of look when you have a multitude of the worms together. As you can see, it's creating this nice kind of shape to it, kind of almond shape, which this makes it look a lot nicer. As you can see here, I'm gently using my fingers and gently, caressing my fingers on the moon. This part you don't have to do, but it's just, it's nice, put a bit of TLC into the moon so it knows it's loved, but you don't have to do it. But yeah, I like doing it. What can I say? I like doing it. I like caressing my moon. I feel more in touch with it after that. As you can see as well, I'm using different sizes of worms. So just bear that in mind as well. I think it gives it a much more it gives it better character. I'd say like using thick and thin worms, it gives it like more depth as well. Like it looks more, obviously we're not doing a realistic sculpture, but it gives it more kind of like a realism, like, you know, of how it looks. So just bear that in mind as well. What I like to do also is I usually like to put in all the features at the same time. What I mean by this, not like how you do a rough sketch, you draw in everything at the same time. That's what I kind of do with clay as well. I like to just like put in all the features so I can have like a basic understanding of how everything works, like all together. So I think in a second I'm gonna add start adding in the nose. So as you can see there, so like, I don't know, everyone's different, but I find it works a lot better for me if I add in all the features at the beginning, so I kind of know how everything works together. As you can see, I'm adding cheeks as well. You need some fat old cheeks for this moon, just to make it look cute. It's just literally just kind of keep on looking at it. Add your bits, the cheeks, you know, I'm trying to make this one look a bit cute. So as you can see, I'm giving it nice big puffy cheeks. But yeah, just you know, have fun with it. So for this bit, I'm just using my ball joint tool, and I'm going to use my fingers as well, just to smooth everything together, just to get a better understanding of what it's going to look like. Like I said before, I've never underestimate like how much you can do with your hands, like when it comes to smoothing and stuff. I still think that's the best tool to use. It's just your hands, caveman style. So just just bear that in mind. Bear that in mind when you're sculpting. You know what I mean? Everything doesn't have to be overcomplicated. I mean, a lot of the stuff you can do with your hands, and then, you know, and the palms. So it's quite simple. It's quite easy. As you can see now, I'm kind of adding more details. So I'm kind of, where I've applied the kind of basic shape of the cheeks, I'm kind of making a connect from the cheeks to the nose. So I'm adding more worms to make that connection. You know what I mean? Just think about how the you know, a natural face looks. You know what I mean? So like, if you have these big cheeks, then it's going to have to be connected somewhere. And because I'm making kind of like a grumpy, angry kind of moon, then, you know what I mean, I want to really stress on the points of, you know, the nose to the cheeks and the eyes to the nose. So everything's connected, isn't it? So you just got to figure out a way of how to connect everything, and usually that can be done with like a couple of worms and just, you know, just connecting them together, joining in the dots. Again, here now I'm using the ball joint tool just to start putting in the finer details of, like, you know, the between the nose and the lips. What is that bit called? Comment below to see. I don't even know what that bit's called, but yeah, just comment below here. I actually want to know what that is, and I can't be bothered to Google it right now. But yeah, as you can see, I'm starting to add the other details as well. I'm using my needle tool, and then, you know, I'm just kind of like putting in the basic shape of the lips now. So yeah, everything's done in sections. I think when you come to sculpting, everything's done in sections. So what you want to do first, as seen before, you know, you do the basic shape first, and then you do another basic layering as well, of like the basic form, and then you start putting like another basic layering of like slightly more details, then slightly more details, and slightly more details. I think rushing in and just doing a really detailed bit and a really detailed bit, I think that's where you're going to go wrong. I think when it comes to stuff like this, especially for beginners, is you want to do it in sections. Basic form first, then, you know, slightly more detailed form, then slightly more detailed form. I think that's always helped me as well. Kind of like understanding like sculpture just in general. I mean, I'm originally like an illustrator, so that's how I understand it. Like, how I started to understand sculpture was just understanding it in basic forms first, and then adding more detail, then a bit more detail, then a bit more detail. favourite tool of mine is just a normal pen. Just the average pen that I use as well. I think that's just good. I kind of like draw onto the shapes. As you can see, I'm just drawing in with my pen tool just to create details, you know, kind of accentuating certain areas like around the nose. So yeah, it's just kind of like finding a balance between all the tools. So as you can see, I'm going back and forth from my pen tool back to my ball joint tool, using the smoother, then back to using my hands again. You know, I'm using all these different things, but I think the more you kind of go back between the three, like back and forth between the 3 or the 4, or how many tools you're using, it gets easier, and you kind of do it more subconsciously. You kind of know what to use. But these 3 tools are like my main tools anyway. So you got the pen, the needle tool, and the ball joint tool. But you can get a lot of nice effects with all 3 of those tools, kind of like nice little details. So what I'm going to do now we've done the basic features of the moon, I'm going to start doing the wrinkles around the eyes. So what you need for that is just some cling film, and then you just wrap that on the face and gently place it on the face. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our needle tool, and the lines that we have already applied with our worms around the eyes, we're just going to follow those around with the needle, kind of, you know, just creating finer lines to make it look more, you know, charismatic, give it more character, you know. As you can see through the cling film already that it's made quite a big difference to the lines, you know what I mean? It looks more realistic, and it's starting to look more like a sculpture. It's looking pretty good, isn't it? It's looking pretty good. my pen tool as well, just to create different variations of lines as well. So, you know, just go back and forth between, again, with the needle and the pen. Yeah, it's just nice to have a variation, because not everything's a same size, so just bear that in mind. But why we use the cling film is because basically it makes using the pen and the needle makes the lines a lot softer, if that makes sense. I mean, so it gives it a much softer kind of a less harsh feel to it and look to it as well. So it makes it a lot more subtle. So So now what I'm doing is I'm just adding, you know, there's more kind of like quirky kind of characteristics. So as you can see, I've added a bit to the nose, made it a little bit crooked. Again, you know what I mean, this is just to give it more of a character, give it more of a personality. But you can do whatever ways you want. If you want to make the lips bigger, if you want to make the eyes smaller, you know, if you want to make the nose, you know, wonky, whatever you want to do, you know, go for it. It's your little baby to work on. So right now I'm going to use white spirit. White spirit's good just to smooth down a lot of the areas, so it looks a lot more refined. You know, less grainy, a lot smoother, kind of like more polished. So white spirit's really good. So just dip your brush into some white spirit. I usually have like a small cap of white spirit, which I just dip my brush in, and then just like gently apply it onto the Super Sculpey. This kind of like it kind of slightly melts the Super Sculpey, not too much to destroy your sculpture, but enough so it gets everything nice and smooth and polished. Use various sizes of brushes to get into like certain areas. So obviously like a big brush wouldn't be ideal to get like inside the nostrils and like other delicate areas. So yeah, just use various sizing brushes. Oh, he's starting to look gorgeous, ain't he? He's starting to look gorgeous. That little moon baby of mine, starting to look gorgeous. Look at him. Look at him. Gorgeous.
Oh no.
Yeah, sorry about the camera angles and certain bits. This is my first YouTube video, so let's just chalk it up to that. But the video quality will get better, but I keep forgetting that the camera's on me, so I'm taking the sculpture out of focus or out of shot. So I can only apologise, but come on, you're getting free content. So you can't complain that much. I'm doing now is I'm going to start creating the textures on top of my sculpture, like the moon textures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ball joint tool to kind of create the crevices and kind of craters that you have on the moon. So what you want to do is lightly press into the clay of the sculpture and create like a circular motion with your ball joint tool, and keep going around and around and around. Then you start to create this kind of indentation, circular indentation. Just keep going and keep following those lines of that circular motion, and then you kind of get this nice kind of like crater effect. So just remember, always switch it up with your textures, just to create, different surface areas and stuff like that. So as you can see, I'm using the ball joint tools in like different ways, like lightly pressing into it just to create smaller craters, using the needle tool to create a different texture on top of the nose. This is always good to switch it up. I mean, variety is the spice of life, that's what they say, don't they? So again, I'm just lightly pressing in with my ball joint tool to create different textures, and I'm going back in with my needle tool on the nose, to create quite deeper but smaller crevices. See, it's all about switching it up, see? Also, I'd just like to apologise about my hand constantly being in front of the camera. I'm just an amateur when it comes to this sort of making videos, but I will get better. But just remember to like and subscribe, even if you don't like or dislike it. Just, tell me your opinion in the comments, what you thought of the video, what do you want me to do next, and that'd be great. As you can see, it's starting to take shape now, the sculpture. You can see the effectiveness of the texture, and how it's bringing everything together. So it's starting to look quite effective, isn't it? And I hope yours is too at home. Apologies, I was having problems with the camera. All I can do is apologise, can't I? And, be humbled. Again, apologies, but I was having problems with the camera. You know, I haven't used a camera in my life, and now I'm doing videos. And you're probably thinking at home, yeah, I can tell that, I can see that, but yeah, apologies again. Again, you don't have to use the ball joint tool to create the textures as well. As you can see, I'm using an end of the paintbrush as well. Just whatever comes to hand, really, I'm just using just to create different varying textures. As you can see, I've got a bit of a sweet tooth as well. Hold tight those peach sweets, giving me sustenance in my time of need. For this bit, now that you finish your sculpture, it's time to dry it. Now there's two ways you can do this. The traditional way I've put in the description of how to oven bake your super sculpey, but what I usually use is a heat gun. So I usually have my heat gun about, I don't know, 7 to 8 inches away, and then I'll just start, I'll put it on the highest setting and just start drying it. I'm just kind of rotating it around my sculpture. Now I'm doing it in kind of an unorthodox way. I've got it on a cup. I'm just turning the cup around and then just heating it. So you want to do that for a bit. When I say a bit, it all depends on how thick your super sculpey is on your sculpture. So for my sculpture, the super sculpey is quite thin. So I'll probably rotate and heat it up with the heat gun for roughly about 10 to 20 minutes. Just kind of going around it, heating it up for about 15-20 minutes, wait for it to cool down, see how hard it is, like just give it a touch, see how hard it is after it's cooled down after like 10 to 20 minutes. And then if it's still a bit soft, then go around it again for about another 5 to 10 minutes of heating it, and then just keep seeing where you are with it. Like, that's how I gauge it anyway. So as you can see, the sculpture is now dry. It's nice and hard, rock hard. And as you can see on the top, it's a bit brown. So that's what super sculpey will do when it's heated up too much. It will start to go brown, so that's like a warning sign. But that's fine, that's easily fixable, because when you're painting it, you shouldn't be able to see that at all. But just watch out for that sign. If you're heating it up into a place too much, then it will start to go brown. So all the paints that I'll be using in this video will be in the description box. But I'm just using a standard titanium white, a standard black, and then the two colors you want to get, which will really add the zing in your moon, is the Pebeo Dyna blue and a pearl white from Dale and Rowney. But before we do that, we're going to have to mask off the marbles on the eye. So I just use any type of masking tape and just rip tiny bits off and start putting it on the marble. So when I paint it, I don't have to worry about getting paint on the glass marble bits. So I don't have to clean that off later. So it saves you time in the future. Again, what is my hand doing? Always in the way. Jeez. As you can see now, I'm going to start painting. So that's my paint palette, by the way. Yeah, complete mess. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mix some of the flat black with the Pebeo Dyna blue and mix those two together. You pretty much want, I'd say, a 70-30 ratio of Pebeo Dyna blue and 30% black. So what you want to do is you want to slap that colour onto your moon and you want to get into all the nooks and crannies and all the crevices, because that's going to be your base color. And well, I'll explain later on, but once you get the base color on, make sure everything's fully covered, you know, there's no kind of like gray areas still showing. So now that you've got your base color on, what you want to do now is just cut like a bit of sponge, because what you're going to do is you're going to mix the titanium white with the pearl. Get another like 70-30 of pearl, and then 30% white, and then you want to apply that with the sponge. Now, why I say a sponge rather than a brush, because basically the sponge covers a wider area, but it's because of the little details of the holes that you've left in and the details, it doesn't cover everything, so you still have the blue showing underneath in certain bits, as you can see on the video. And that's going to prove beneficial later on, because after we've applied our white with the sponge, as you can see, like on the video, you can see the blue coming out from the crevices and the moon craters. So after you've added those colors, I'd probably do 2 layers of pearl and white. So now you want to add your interference blue. Now this is going to be what makes everything pop out. So as I was saying about the sponge leaving those dark blue areas in the crevices, you want to apply your interference blue to the dark areas that are still showing. Now I think the interference blue, that's by Golden, and it's called interference blue. I think you can get it online, and it's quite easy to get, so don't worry about it. But it kind of creates this nice kind of like shiny effect, where there's kind of like two-tone kind of bluey kind of static effect, which will really make the moon pop. You want to get that brush right in there. You want to get that brush right in those creases and cracks. Right in there. That's it. Don't be shy. Get it right in those cracks. Now we can take off the masking tape on the eyes. As you can see, well, what a difference those eyes make anyway. You can see that it makes a huge difference. Like, it makes it look way more alive. But yeah, it's pretty much done. That's it. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll probably be doing a giveaway as well, so make sure to like and subscribe, and then I'll do the giveaway, so I'll probably give away the moon or something. So yeah, just stay tuned and watch out for the next video. Like, subscribe and all that.